Holy smokes, Engle, are we back?
We are, and it really makes you appreciate those in business who never left. And of course, I'm talking about Howie's Market.
That's right. We lasted 2 years before we needed a break. Howie's Market has been showing up 7 days a week since 1960. That's 65 years of service without ever tapping out.
One might call that a tradition unlike any other. Speaking of traditions, unlike any other, Howie's Market is the perfect neighborhood grocer to stock up on everything you need for the Masters this week.
Are we allowed to invoke the Masters in a paid commercial for another company?
Yeah. Why not? Hawk, if Dude Perfect can go kick around soccer balls at Augusta National, I can say their name here.
Great point, and I agree. Stop on by Howie's for the best meat, seafood, wine, spirits, craft beers, and snack selections for the most important 4 days on the couch all year.
And before you watch what happens down Magnolia Lane, head on over to 6580 North San Gabriel Boulevard and get everything you need for an incredible weekend of televised golf.
Howie's Market, the best in the business for 65 years. Tell them Nation Golf sent you.
You'll love to see it. It's been said many a times that a break is a break, and you got to make plans.
Were you anticipating the intro?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fellowship. My name is Adam Hawk.
And I'm Ryan Engle.
Ryan freaking Engle.
He is Ryan Engle, and together we will put an old mantra to the test. Is picking up a chemistry-driven weekly podcast after a 6-week break really just like riding a bike? You know, Ryan, that is what they say. In fact, everyone says it. They say that picking up a podcast after a 6-week break is just like riding a bike. Do you believe them?
Sure. When was the last time you rode a bike, Ryan?
Did you look at my notes?
No, but I know your shtick now, so I'm trying to get ahead of it. You know what I mean?
When is the last time you rode a bike?
I knew it. It's been some time, Adam. What a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. Fun fact, used to love riding bikes.
Who didn't?
Specifically, the OG pedal brake beach cruiser. Hope you don't have a hill in front of you, because it's a flatland cruiser for sure. But fun fact, Katie Kai hates bicycles.
Who's Katie Kai?
My wife.
Great.
I think the listeners all know who Katie Kai is.
I certainly do. Big fan of Katie Kai. In fact, congratulations to Katie Kai for having her clothing brand, which she designed, Standy Del Mar, on the season finale of White Lotus.
Yeah, pretty rad. On the best character,
Walter Goggins. Now, all I want to do is let the listening audience who might be new to the show know who your wife is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's my wife. Stay out of her DMs. Just kidding. But yeah, we tried it, you know, in the pandemic. It was like, we're going to put some racks on our thing and ride to Doheny, you know, and she's just not a two-wheel person unless it's got a motor, because she can ride dirt bikes and shit. So anyways, I had this really rad beach cruiser, and it was our go-to deal. We would ride down to the harbor a lot. I love that thing. Some have told me that I have the best skid on the West Coast. I've been told that.
Okay.
Anyways, I built this thing out. It was like a cheap Schwinn knockoff, but I went down the rabbit hole years ago and tricked it out, customized it, you know, because you can go kind of low rider style or, you know, vintage, whatever. It's kind of a hybrid, but I threw some chrome fenders on it. I did the spring action front forks that the old Schwinns have, you know, put white tires with black spokes, and I styled the thing out, you know what I mean? and it's just like up in the rafters in my mom's garage, just sad, just doesn't get used. So to answer your question, long story short, probably 4 years, give or take.
Yep.
Love bikes, though. Big bike guy. Just not like the sporty ones. I like the cruisers.
Right. Possessions being up in your mom's garage is what we like to call in the business the Dana Shapiro.
Ooh, too soon? Wow.
I don't know. He probably heard that through the windows around the corner in the parking lot.
Yeah, right, dude. He's got so many blankets in the back of that thing, he can't hear shit. We should record our podcast in his truck, dude.
It is good to be back. I asked you a layup question and got a 5-minute response. This really is just like
old times.
Riding a bike.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I missed that one.
Oh, I have not ridden a bike.
Oh, Adam, when was the last time you rode a bike?
I have not ridden a bike in quite a few years. I had a near-death experience.
I'd imagine you're not good at riding bikes.
That's so funny that you say that because...
Well, you suck at driving, and your overall coordination seems a little off.
I was riding a bike with clip-in pedals. Are you familiar with clip-in pedals?
You should never ride a bike with clip-in pedals.
That is very, very true and accurate. And I got into a left-hand turn lane on the street in Fullerton.
Couldn't stop.
Well, I went to lean down on my left foot, which was still clipped in.
You just toppled over?
I just fell right over.
Fucking idiot.
And I'm in the left-hand turn lane, so my head is hanging into oncoming traffic, and a Jeep missed my head at 40 miles an hour by a mere 6 inches.
Wow.
And then I thought to myself, I'm never doing this again. I'm never riding a bike on a street, because what's the point in dying riding a bike? No one's going to go to your funeral and say, well, you know, what a great guy. He was out there exercising. He was really getting his cardio in. They're going to say, what an idiot. He's a father of 2 and he's married. Why is he riding a bike on the streets when every gym in North America has a stationary bike inside? Why is he going around driving a bike amongst cars when everyone is more distracted than they've ever been? Did you just rip one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you know, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my disdain for the road cyclists.
Anything else?
I don't know. Those guys are so annoying.
Okay.
Are they not?
Great take. Yeah, they are.
They're so annoying. Here's a thought. You're doing this for exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was no one waiting at the end of your ride with a ribbon to break through or a stopwatch. So you're not racing, right? So for exercise, it wouldn't matter if you had a little drag. So why are you dressed up in all spandex with racing numbers and sponsors on it that you don't have? Are you shaving time? Put some baggies on, dude. You can do half the ride and get twice the workout. Just a thought. But hey, you look real good walking around like an alien in Starbucks with your little baby cleats and your bun huggers, dude.
Click, clack, click, clack. That was me for a while until God took me down to the pavement and almost ran me over with a Jeep.
I tell you what, he did you a service because I couldn't imagine you in those tights.
If you are loved by anyone in this world and you ride a pedal bike on the street, you're a bad person who is not holding up their end of the deal when it comes to reciprocating love. No one needs to be out there.
I mean, that's why they have bike paths.
Right. Take it to a bike path.
Right.
Put a rack on the back of your Civic.
Way cooler.
Take it to a bike path.
Way cooler. Why would you want to ride around a bunch of fucking traffic anyways?
There's a great bike path called the Santa Ana River Bike Path that goes from Huntington Beach past Angel Stadium. I've done that before. It's a fun ride.
That's great.
But I had to ride there to get on that path. I never hooked up the bike rack to the back of my Corolla.
Right.
So I asked you, when is the last time you rode a bike? I, for some reason, have it down in my notes. When's the last time you read a book? You strike me as a guy who doesn't like to read and barely knows how.
Yeah, I am pretty good at reading.
I read good.
I read good. My ADD is way too elevated to read books. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how many books I've finished. I've started plenty. I read paragraphs, pages, chapters, and I'm reading it. I'm reading the story, but I'm thinking about something else. My mind's, it's just too fast for that stuff, which is why I play video games. No, I'm just kidding. I can't read. I literally can't. Like, I would love to. I'm going to start, because I drive to the desert so much solo, late at night.
Listening to audiobooks.
I'm going to start listening to audiobooks, because it's funny you bring this up, because I've been thinking about this lately. It's like the one thing in my life that I've it's the one thing in my life that I've kind of like, I feel like I'm missing out on. Everyone's like, you should read this. It's awesome. And it's like, God, I wish I could. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even going to say like, yeah, I'm gonna. I can't.
Right.
I can't fucking read.
And it's not for a lack of time.
No. Well, yeah. I have priorities. As we all do. Mine's just usually doing sick stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you read? No, I do sick stuff instead.
Yeah. I did some sick stuff this weekend.
Excellent. I'd love to ask you, but we're on
It's not in your notes.
Time restraint. Folks, thank you so much for being here. It is good to be back. Or is it? More on that in just 1 second. We do have a fully loaded program today, because we didn't just pick this week to bring back the podcast for no reason. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the week, the high holiday of the Kingdom of Golf. Listeners of the Fellowship, as if you didn't already know, say it with me now. It's Masters Week.
Hello, friends.
Did it sneak up on you, Engle? Because it snuck up on me.
It snuck up on everyone, because no one watches pro golf anymore. They're like, fuck, name the last tournament. The Valero? Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the one before that?
Something else in Texas.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny how now they're like reporting in, I guess you would call golf news, what the ratings are. It's almost like Meta sending a bunch of bots to abandon carts on your site so that the quote-unquote advertising still works. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't think the ratings are up. No one knows these tournaments. No one knows these guys. There was a pillow fight a few weeks back, and it was Victor Hovland, who has recently lost his game, up against Justin Thomas, who has recently lost his game, and they're going at it, and everyone below him on the entire leaderboard no one's ever heard in their life. And you're like, this is the PGA Tour's product now. Every week it's like, and another first-time winner, and you're like, no shit. And then everyone's like, oh, the old school guys could never pull it here. Look how deep the field is. And you're like, yeah, there's more B-plus players now for sure. Not very many A-plus. Yeah, the Masters creeps up on you because no one's paying attention. And all of a sudden, oh, shit. What's sad about the Masters? We said it a million times. It's the best tournament in golf. And it happens early in the year. And then it's over. Then what's there to watch? The FedEx Cup. I can't wait for the FedEx Cup this year. How about you, Adam? Said no one ever.
We will talk about the Masters. Specifically, we will give our predictions on who we think is going to win, and we will do it in a unique way exclusive to the Fellowship. We also have a massive announcement to make today, which the podcast community will hear before the social media community, which is exciting.
Is it?
Speaking of social media, we will get an update on Ryan Engle's 40-day sabbatical from Instagram, which is coming to an end in just over a week. Is he frothing to get back, or will he stay gone? We'll ask the man.
Wish I could.
Those topics and more all coming up, but let's begin the show.
The show hasn't started?
Not really.
Okay.
We talked about bikes and books.
I've had some great stuff, personally.
You can take the next 5 minutes off.
It sounds like I'm gonna.
Let's begin the show with some honesty, folks.
Oh, jeez.
Some honesty regarding why, after 125 episodes without missing a single week, we decided to put the Fellowship on the shelf for an extended period of time.
I'm fine. Actually, I'm better than I've ever been.
I won't bury the lead here, folks. I was the reason we took a break, and it was 100% my decision. And when I told Engle I wanted to take a break from it, it was not planned. In fact, quite the opposite. Way back on March 3rd, we met up early in the morning, and we taped for over an hour like we usually do. But when we were done recording, I think we both felt like, for the first time, that it was pretty dog crap what we did.
I mean, you got to let the listeners decide, right? It's not your choice to say if a show is good or bad. You never edited it. What happened, folks, is that I made a joke after filming, and Adam took it to heart, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back because he was already on the brink of spiraling down the toilet. Mentally, professionally, he was up against it, as he likes to say. And after being up against it, he went in the pocket and basically shut the doors on the fellowship because I made a joke saying, wow, well, that one sucked. Probably lost sleep on it for like 4 or 5 days. It just got worse from there, and glad to see you're out of it, though, because that was pretty brutal.
All right, my side of the story. I came in that morning, March 3rd, very unprepared, which I rarely do, but this particular time, I didn't even have a concept of a plan, although you can win the presidency of the United States without a concept of a plan. I didn't have a concept of a plan of what Thank you. I didn't have a concept of a plan of what I wanted to talk about or how I wanted the show to flow, and that session suffered for my unpreparedness. And we labored through those 70 minutes because guess what, folks? There are very few people on the planet who can riff for 10 minutes, let alone 70, without an idea of what they're going to do for that time and still be compelling and worth listening to. And that includes us.
Really?
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 Where's my plan?
I'm getting to you. Now, to pull the curtain back, I write the show and edit the show, and I mean both those things very literally. I write my material. I prep it on Sunday nights, and I write somewhere between 8 to 12 pages, and I usually take it off the page word for word or pretty close. Guess what? I'm reading right now, something Engle admitted earlier he does not do. I'm not good enough, smart enough, funny enough, quick enough, well-spoken enough, trained in improv enough to do it any other way. No one listening to this show would want to hear me attempt this podcast without the amount of prep I put into it.
You don't know that. You don't know that because you're too afraid to try, dude. And then you tried once, and then you fucking had a mental breakdown, dude. Just because I said, well, that sucked. My God, dude. You know I'm joking all the time, right?
Now, Engle is different. He shoots from the hip. He operates in windows. He's usually very funny. He has the kind of unchecked confidence where he can just let it rip. And most of the time, not always, he can make his point doing it that way. But for me, this is how I learned it. I watched a radio Hall of Famer do it this way, arguably the greatest sports talk radio host ever. So I feel fortunate to have learned that process, and it has become my process. Some people forget or just don't know, but this thing, the Fellowship Podcast, which is a side hustle to a side hustle, is born from a medium that I worked in professionally at the highest level for 15 years. Broadcasting is my most expert trade. It's hard, if not impossible, for me to approach this side hustle without the same degree of professionalism that I brought to it when it was a career. That's just the way it is.
Right.
I can't change that.
Right.
And I don't really want to.
Well, we can see that.
So I write the show and I edit the show. And editing is why the levels sound good and how the drops get in and how Engle's explicit jokes get bleeped out. And most importantly, how the show presents itself as being very polished. We usually tape out for 70 or 80 minutes, and you typically hear 45 minutes or so when it becomes a finished episode. Why? Why do we do that? Because I value the audience. Because I think if something isn't good or entertaining, it should be left on the cutting room floor. Because I would rather have 45 well-paced minutes and leave someone wanting more than run the risk of boring someone and having them leave the show because I didn't take the time to withhold crap from them. And because I think you have way too many entertainment options at your fingertips. And I am humbled that you would choose us, and I want to earn that choice and validate that choice every second that you are listening to us. Now, some self-reflection. Do I take this thing too seriously? Probably.
Yes.
Can I help it? Debatable
Yes.
to some, but not really to me.
Yes. The answer is always yes. It's just how do we get there?
Do I think the show wouldn't be as good if I approached it more loosely?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Do I feel extra judged for anything related to broadcasting because I come from the freaking Jim Rome show? No doubt I do. It's a plague.
Those guys aren't listening.
Am I a slave to my past life for better or for worse? You better believe it. So when we did a bad session way back on March 3rd and I was staring at a pile of crap that was going to need hours of editing just to make it passable, I decided right then and there, I don't want to do this right now. And I don't know when I'm going to want to do it again because it takes too much time and I care too much. So I texted Engle and said, let's take a break till the Masters. Now, this is the last little bit where I'm going to mention the downsides of the podcast because I'm self-aware enough to know that this is way too self-serving and way too inside baseball. But this thing takes me 3 hours to write on a Sunday, typically just under 2 hours for us to set up and record on Monday, and right around 3 hours to edit and promote on Instagram. Door to door, this is an 8-hour production spread over 2 days, and those 2 days are a very precious Sunday and a very busy Monday. So what is the solution? Care less? Don't do as much prep or editing? Folks, very few people in the world can do quality work worth someone else's time without preparing and refining. And I'm not one of them. And I don't feel like I need to prove that. March 3rd, I didn't prep and I couldn't even bring myself to edit what we did because it
Have you
sucked
listened to it back?
that bad. No.
Oh, so you're just making assumptions fact.
I'm going off of 15 years of experience knowing that what we did sucked.
But you didn't listen to it.
I don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If I serve this audience crap and expect them to eat it and come back for more, then shame on me. This audience deserves the best because they are giving us the most valuable thing anyone can give, and that is their time.
You have radio, broadcast radio, and podcast confused. They're different animals. And if Mr. 15 years of experience over there can't see that, I think our problem's bigger than you writing on a Sunday afternoon.
This is what it's all about, folks. Time spent. It's a time war. The time I spend on this podcast versus the time you spend listening to it. So instead of finding an easier way to produce the show, we just put it on the shelf because I would rather shelf something than denigrate it. Anyway, the amount of people who reached out, most of whom I didn't know, to express their dismay in the podcast not being there for them was freaking humbling and really, really touching. For 15 years, I was a part of building these shows for other people, and I watched and heard listeners tell the host how much the programs meant to them. To hear that similar kind of feedback for something that we, Ryan and I, built ourselves was special. And I'm really glad that this show means something to people. And I don't know what it means to you. Maybe it means something as trivial as killing time in the car for an hour or hearing countercultural golf takes, or it reminds you of banter that you have with your own best friends. I've had a few people say that the show actually helped them through a hard time, and more than a few people say that once we started talking more openly about our faith, that it's actually made them start to want to renew theirs. I never imagined that ever happening. And look, I understand that this sounds so self-aggrandizing. I get that. And if you're shaking your head going, what in the HE double toothpicks does this guy think he is to this audience? I get that. But I also know that the medium of spoken word is transformative and powerful. And I have felt connected to radio hosts that I've never met before. And I've certainly leaned on their shows to eat some innings in my life. And when it went away or wasn't there, it was a disturbance to my routine, and no one likes having their routines upended. So to all the people who listen every week and to all the people who were pissed about this break, I see you, I hear you, I love you. And it's because of you that I don't want to put out a crappy product. So here we are back on April 7th, the week of the Masters, like we said we would be. As Engle's Orange Hero would say, promises made, promises kept. I don't know if I can find a way to do this show any differently. But at the very least, I wanted to explain to everyone listening that the process behind it is why I needed a break from it. And who knows, maybe this will sound more different and more raw going forward. And who knows, maybe you have a higher tolerance for crap than I think. But I've never really wanted to find out. Hopefully, there is a way that I can add some hours back to my week and you all get the same great podcast every Monday. That is what we are going to try to do. Your thoughts?
So you're not going to do anything different. You just rambled on and tried to touch the listener with a bunch of projecting excuses and connect with them in an emotional way to basically get to the punchline saying, the last time really broke me and I'm just going to keep doing it the same way because you deserve it. The world's flying by us, Hawk. We might be the last podcast that doesn't have video. And what's funny about that is that they all are doing video, which means minimal editing, which means the medium of which this thing is and such a massive thing, and the reason why radio is dying because people are listening to podcasts instead of radio is because it's just raw, real, open conversations. Now, you can write and be prepared, but killing yourself over the editing, that's fine. You want to do that, that's your choice. But I'm here to tell you right now to all of our loyal listeners, I, for one, am not going to accept you bitching and moaning about it anymore because this is your choice. I don't want to hear about your 35-minute drive or whatever the fuck it is. You choose to live there.
35-mile drive.
Either which way. Well, if you're going the speed, about 35 minutes. The speed you need.
Yeah. Because California roadways are wide open for 65-mile-an-hour driving.
They are at 4 a.m. But, just saying, I've heard your shtick. The world's flying by us in a 747 jet, waving out the window going, Mommy, look, there's a dinosaur with microphones down there. Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing, I guess. I just don't want to I don't want to hear about it anymore because if you ain't willing to try or change or let the listener decide, then you're going to have to live with that. Edit all you want. I'm just going to put these headphones down and get back to work when we're done. And I wish you well. Pray for you. God willing, hope you can sort it out. That's all, folks. Good night. Thank you for listening. Really?
Well, thanks for hearing me out.
I heard.
Yeah, I just want to let the listener know why we went on break.
Okay.
And we'll only talk about it once. You will no longer hear any complaining from me. The process is the process. Can it be refined and changed and perhaps optimized? Sure, but we won't.
Are you willing to try anything new?
What do you want me to do?
It's just a simple question. Normally you say, what a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. But instead what do you want to do? There's a wall up. There's a barrier here. We're trying to break down barriers. We're trying to break down these walls, Adam. We're trying to grow, trying to evolve, both spiritually, professionally, because there is a friendship involved in this too. This isn't just me trying to listen to your Sunday afternoon notes. There's a connection here. I think the viewers, the listeners, can hear it. Hopefully, they can see it one day. But that's just me. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah. Like I've told you many times, if I walked into your surfboard shaping bay and said, that's good enough.
That's a horrible analogy.
Is it?
Yeah, that's not what this is. We've already proven that we can do it. We did it for over a year. Before this podcast, we had a live show. Live to tape. Just about every week, too. With guests. And we just ripped it live. And everyone loved it. We only stopped doing it because we couldn't afford it. And here we are, going down the rabbit hole, giving you all the control, and when it gets too much, you spin out. We got to stop that. We got to break this cycle, Adam. That's what this is all about.
Speaking of breaking cycles, and enough about me, let's talk about the star of the show, Ryan Engle. Lent started on March 7th. Does everyone know what Lent is? Who is listening? Not lint, not what you find in the dryer after washing your clothes. Lent. It is a 40-day period of self-denial meant to honor the 40 days that Jesus spent in the desert fasting and being tempted by the devil. You are supposed to give up something that means a lot to you in your life and replace it with the Spirit of God. Lent started on March 7th. It ends on April 17th. Ryan Engle decided to give up social media. I challenged Ryan on the March 3rd show that was never released to give up social media. He accepted. So Ryan disappeared from social, and the podcast disappeared from everyone's feed all at the same time, and no one really knew why. Folks, only at Nation Golf can we be so bad at cluing everyone in on what's happening. Anyway, I challenged Ryan to get off of social because, Ryan, I have noticed that it's never been a constructive place for you, social media. That's not to say that you haven't made funny content on there, because you have. Tips from the Tips is a wonderful account that you have curated. And we both have met some great friends who have become a part of the Nation Golf family. But more often than not, something very annoying to your sensibilities will appear on your Instagram feed, and it will suck your time and energy for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. If Indian Wells Ryan Engle is the best version of you, then doom-scrolling golf Instagram is pretty close to the opposite. I was excited that you said yes to this 40-day sabbatical from Instagram. You today are 30 days in. How is it going?
Great. I didn't even realize it or think about it much because I've just been going, but been just way less stressed. I think what's ironic about all of this is these 40 days, even though we've still got 10 left or whatever, were probably the craziest for me that I can remember from a professional standpoint. This whole chairman of the powwow thing was way more work than I thought.
Pause.
I'm the chairman of the member guest tournament in Indian Wells called the powwow.
Thank you.
I took that on, and we've been picking away at it since the summer, and it's basically crunch time now. Tournament's in a couple weeks. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, and our tournament, the Nation Desert Classic, is the following weekend. There's more planning and work that goes into that than anyone can imagine. So special shout out to everyone's like, hey, it's not working. Can I Venmo you? Hey, let me email the bride the night before the wedding and ask her the directions to the venue. You know what I mean? Like, just like, come on, guys, give me a fucking break. But yeah, the combination of those two mixed in with our daily business procedures, growing this team, trying to get these new products going, and the surfboard business always creeping in week after week and trying to find time to shape and balance that and respond to customers, all that stuff. Long story short, I historically probably would have been a worse version of myself had I been on that stuff, because it would have taken away those very valuable moments in between all of those tasks and create probably not the best trains of thought. And what I've realized, just reflecting on it in the past couple of days, is I can honestly say that I don't think I've ever felt more calm and at peace. And I still have outstanding things on all of them, but I'm just like, every day, I'm just going to chip away at it, get a couple done, and then I close the books and get home. And I don't think I've ever felt more just at ease with those types of things and pressure that comes with it. So you want to run the tips account for me?
There's a common train of thought that if you walk away from social media, that you miss out on life. And a lot of people will say, I cannot get off of social media because I have to be on there. What you have experienced these past 30 days is you don't have to be on there.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's little things like my wife's like, what? Did you see that today, the algae and the seals and the this, that? And I'm like, what? And then we were out at dinner the other night and with friends, and did you see this? It's like, fuck, I haven't seen shit. I don't know anything that's going on in whatever BuzzFeed world that we think is real when it comes to news nowadays. News is so subjective, right? It's like the world is just a targeted algorithm now, you know, and it's really interesting to not play the game. You're just like, I feel like I'm the guy in the parking lot before technology, having a smoke break and just staring up at the clouds. That's honestly what I feel like. In between my tasks, instead of looking at bullshit and getting riled up, good or bad, I'm just...
So while your life has become substantially and tangibly better, I do want to ask, what do you miss about not being on social media?
Nothing. I don't miss anything. I love the positive things it's given me, the positive relationships I've gained from it. I'm not saying that I'm not interested in gaining more of that, but I'm quite content. Got some great friends. I'm open to having more, but I'm okay if I don't. I don't know, being off it, you kind of realize how much of it sucks and isn't positive. And I'm not saying it's overly negative. I'm just saying it's not great.
No, and it can turn you into a negative person.
Yeah. It's definitely the armpit of society now.
Sure.
I think we can all agree.
Will you go back on April 17th? And if you do, how will you use social media differently?
I'd like to think that I'm going to use it differently. I'm hoping that all of this experience resonated with me so much that it will drive me to stick to it. What I'd like to do with my feelings right now is care way less about it, look at it way less, and try not to engage with anything that doesn't help what I'm doing.
Here's what I would like to see from you when you get back on it. When you scroll past something that gets you going in a negative spiral, because you are a very opinionated person and because we live in a time where the golf space is throwing the most cringe-worthy content in front of us at an insane clip, I just want to see you scroll right past it.
Okay.
Just say, hey, yeah, this sucks, and boop, I'm on to the next thing.
I think I'm going to unfollow a bunch of shit.
There you go. In the spirit of the season of Lent, and because we've been off for 6 weeks, I think we need to detox. I want to quickly unload all the negative energy we've been holding on to, let it out, and perhaps vow to not come back to it. Look, I don't care how close the both of us end up getting to God. We're still going to have our opinions, and we're still going to be operating in a golf space that finds new ways to embarrass itself every single day.
It's bad.
So we're going to have to keep it real. That's not going to change. But I do want to offload a bunch of takes that have been sagging my shoulders for weeks. So let's detox as we head into the Masters and Easter. Let's renew our souls through a good old-fashioned purge.
Okay.
Netflix, Full Swing, Season 3, biggest pile of horse mess ever released on any streaming platform. Absolute bullocks. I would have rather gone to the Fire Festival than wasted my time watching a bunch of influencers read canned B-roll narrative about how hyped the golf world is for the Zurich Classic and the President's Cup. Give me an effing break, Full Swing. You spent an entire episode talking about a team event tour stop in New Orleans that no one has ever watched or ever talked about, and then you looked into the camera and told the audience that the President's Cup was something to care about. Shame on this show. Now, I understand that I'm not the audience for that show because I am a BC golf fan, and we all know that BC stands for
Before COVID.
Before COVID. But this season of Full Swing was so bad. I tapped out after 3 episodes. Couldn't do it. Horrible content.
Can't do it.
Very happy to hear that our loyal listener, Lindsay Wrighton, dubbed the show Fake Swing.
Fake swing.
Love it. Next detox. Season 1 of the TGL is over, and I have 2 takes. First, all right, you had your fun. Good job. The roof didn't deflate for a second time. But can all of the social media influencers who were so clearly on the marketing team stop pretending now? The jig is up. This thing was corny. No new golf fans were added. No team gear was sold. No one followed the standings or watched the playoffs. In fact, I have yet to meet anyone who knows who won the TGL championship. So can we all stop pretending and playing along now? Give this thing to the YouTube golf bros. Let them do their thing with it. No one needs to see real golfers play fake golf. Fake golfers playing fake golf, that could work.
Look, say what you want. I don't like the lights. I don't like the format. I don't like this. Okay, that's cool. here's what we do know. We're in the industry. We've got our ears to the tracks. We can hear the beat of the train coming. And I'll tell you this, folks. We know that influencers, and for the record, I'll never call you guys creators. You're always influencers to me. Influencers and people in the industry, they were paid to attend. I think maybe the TGL is running out of money, because what I did notice as things went on, and what nights are they on? Tuesday nights? Some of those nights when we would turn TV on late, like it'd come up on YouTube TV, like it's not on now, but it was on earlier, and it's like you can check it. And I've clicked over a couple times just to like see if anything's different. What I noticed in the few minutes I've watched is, for a stadium, would you call it a stadium?
Sure.
For an event area, event space that has, I don't know, guessing 100 seats. I mean, they make it look big, but if you really look, there's like 2 rows deep, and it goes around in circumference, and maybe there's like 2 levels, so like call it 100 spaces, and they're paying most of those people to be there. Saw a lot of empty seats. The lights, the music, the smoke and mirrors makes you think the screen's so big. Look how big the screen is. Real cool. They take real divots. Can you zoom out for a second? Because is everybody missing the fact that no one's fucking there? No one's there. How great is it if no one can be there? They are trying to manufacture an audience and make it look like this thing's a big deal. Most things have to like have some type of organic snowball of success and exposure and kind of prove itself. But this is just like, throw $1 billion at this fucking thing. Don't worry. Everyone will like it. We'll fudge the numbers. Don't worry about it. I haven't heard that many people that like it. I haven't seen that many people there. In fact, after each of those things, like you go anywhere in the world after the Masters, everyone's going to be talking about like who won. Have you heard anyone talk about TGL? I almost called it Full Swing. Same people. But you know what I mean? It's like, can we all just be honest?
Yeah.
This thing sucks.
Well, that's the thing with the golf industry, is it's very hard for someone to be honest about it.
They can't, because it's an opportunity to get on a brand's marketing payroll.
Right.
It's so obvious, and maybe it's not as obvious to everyone else, but fuck, what a dumpster fire that thing is.
My second take and final take on the TGL, I'm very impressed that we're 2 years into hearing about this thing, and nobody knows what TGL stands for. How does no one know?
What? And we don't know?
We think it stands for Tomorrow Golf League.
But they haven't said anything.
No. Your thoughts? The Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out. Mark my words, folks. This movie is going to let Caddyshack 2 off the hook for worst golf sequel of all time. If trailers are supposed to show the best parts of a movie, it is clear that this sack of crap doesn't even have a good part, let alone a best part.
It's more like current golf media marketing than it is a movie.
Right.
And you're going to have the same paid actors in the space caping up for it because they're part of the team that goes on the film tour and does trick shots before on the red carpet or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is just like, so here, go dance over there, you little monkey,
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid, dude.
You nailed it, because as soon as this movie starts to roll out, they will throw all sorts of events around.
Here's our creators tour to debut the film. Sick.
That said, folks, in a time of Happy Gilmore 2, the TGL, Full Swing, Lab Putters, Live Golf, let us thank the heavens, for heaven on earth, that is, Augusta National. It's the week of the Masters, and we're going to make some picks, and we're going to do it our way. So, Engle, I'm going to ask you.
Yes, sir.
For 4 different picks, and they are going to break out into 4 different tiers. I am going to need you to pick a front-running favorite that is somewhat expected to contend and possibly win, and we will call that pick your okay pick.
Okay.
because who wouldn't agree with this pick? Then I'm going to need a second-tier pick that wouldn't shock the world, but would certainly be a surprise. Someone like a Tom Fleetwood or a Shane Lowry. Someone that when you say their name, it would elicit the response, maybe.
Maybe.
Then I'm going to need a pick that would shock the world, but is also just a really good, sneaky dark horse pick. The kind of pick that gets someone to say,
Really?
Love it.
And finally, I'm going to need a pick so outlandish that the world can't help but hear it and say, stupid idiot.
Stupid idiot.
Okay, so we're going, okay.
Okay.
Maybe.
Really?
Stupid idiot.
Stupid idiot.
That's what we're doing, so please give me your okay pick.
Okay.
Okay.
Brooks Koepka.
Whoa.
Yeah, here's the deal, dude.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Dude's a chotch, for sure. But to be great at anything in pro sports, whether it's surfing, golf, basketball, whatever, you kind of have to be a little dumb. And what I mean by that is can't be scared. If you're super smart, like yourself, you're scared of everything. You know, you got to be a little lights out sometimes. You know, you lock in, you focus. Stop worrying about all the bullshit. This guy has proven time and time again, his game really isn't even that great, but he's always right there in the big tournaments. He truly believes, and I kind of agree with him on the fact that there's only like a small handful of guys who can actually win this thing. Everyone else is just excited to be there. I just see him hanging around, having a chance. He's not scared, and we all know how golf goes. That ball goes his way a little bit. I just think his moxie fits what it takes to win there. So I'm going Brooks Koepka. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I would now appreciate your maybe pick.
My maybe. I go Scotty Scheffler.
Just a maybe.
Yeah, because Tiger's the last guy to repeat there. And I think that was in like 2002 or something when like there was no one in the field and he hit it by everybody, you know, when it was easy for a guy like him to win. No one repeats there. But Scotty's Scotty. I think he's got less pressure because he's not in his best form right now. And he's going to have some pixie dust on him because, you know, defending champ, he's going to be in those rooms and shaking hands, and there's an emotional connection to Augusta, and they know how to sprinkle that pixie dust on you when you're there to, you know, make the clips and the interviews and everything have a story, and like they're just masterminds of this shit. So let's see what that pixie dust can do to his shuffle.
Now, your third pick.
You're going to love this one.
Your really pick.
Really.
I'm
going Tommy Fleets.
Oh, fairway Jesus.
Here's the deal. The golf world, we've talked about it. It's rattled right now, especially the pro game. It's a clusterfuck. Seems like there's been several first-time winners, breakthrough winners recently, more than ever. I just think maybe he can really get it done.
Okay, very good. He's never gotten it done on the tour before.
That's why it'd be perfect.
Why not?
Because how many times has it been someone like that?
Sure, little Charles Schwartzel, little Danny Willett.
He could be the next Danny Willett.
All right, your final and fourth pick, your stupid idiot pick.
Stupid idiot.
Rory McIlroy.
No.
This guy's never going to win it. And there isn't enough and in his step to get him over the hump. There just really isn't. One thing's for sure. We will witness another heartbreak, and there'll be some entertainment in watching him go through that heartbreak with all his huffy-puffy, thinks he deserves it type of mentality. Well, everyone else has said I'm going to get the Grand Slam. Jack said he's just waiting for me to win this one. It seems like he's just, especially at that U.S. Open that Bryson took his lunch money at, even up until that last putt and the way he stormed off, it's clear to me that this guy just is great for sure, but he kind of, there's an entitlement with Rory. It looks like he's out there and he thinks he fucking deserves it. You don't deserve shit. You got to earn it, pal. Just because you had a blowout U.S. Open victory when you were a young lad, let's be frank here. You did not live up to the hype. You were supposed to be one of the greatest of all time. You were great, but you fell short. And that's the brutal, honest truth. Look, I'm a hack, dude. I ain't saying that I know it all, but what I do know is this. That dude didn't live up to his hype. Still a great player. But when it doesn't go his way, throwing clubs, slamming them into the tee boxes, huffy puffy, leaving the media room. You're number 2 in the world, and you're not going to answer a question at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Get off my fucking lawn. Rory McIlroy is such a baby, and I don't think babies win Augusta except for Sergio Garcia.
Oh,
so there's already an exception to the rule, and Sergio already got it. I mean, you look at the Champions Dinner and you're like, well, there's like 3 or 4 guys that shouldn't be there, but it is what it is. It happens. They have to honor it. And I'm just here to say that I don't think Rory's ever getting to that dinner.
Here's what sucks about writing the show out is you stepped on a great Sergio Garcia line that I had coming up while talking about Rory McIlroy. And I'm not good enough to adjust. So, folks, you're just gonna have to hear it twice. Your okay pick, Brooks Koepka. Your maybe pick, Scotty Scheffler. Your really pick, Tom Fleetwood. And your stupid idiot pick, Rory McIlroy. Here are my picks. My okay pick.
Okay.
Ludwig Aubert.
Yeah, he's. It was between him and Brooks, and you know what? He's the new Brooks. That guy is not scared, and he looks a little dumb. That's scary. You know what I'm saying? What I was trying to explain. Do you catch my drift on that?
Absolutely, yeah.
They're very similar in that sense. Would
Yep.
you agree with that?
I would agree that Brooks Koepka is dumb, yes.
Yeah.
But give me the Swede, give me the beautiful man, winner of the Genesis, played at Torrey Pines, spurred on by my high five in round 3. And let's be honest, folks, Ludwig Aubert is still feeling the momentum from that interaction with me. Also, he finished second last year at the Masters, and he's just a darn good player.
He hits it high and far and straight.
Give me Aubert for my
he's
okay pick.
I honestly, that's a great pick. It's so hard to pick the Masters, but it's kind of easy to pick who you think's going to be in the mix. I think it's very safe to say he's going to be in the mix.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
For my maybe pick, give me Rory McIlroy. Is Augusta National his kryptonite? Yes. Does he drive in the carpool lane down Magnolia Lane because there's a few ghosts in the courtesy vehicle with him? He sure does. But is he playing his best golf right now, coming off wins at Pebble Beach and the
Maybe.
Players? Oh, you betcha. So give me Rory as my maybe pick.
Maybe.
My really pick.
Really?
Bryson DeChambeau. This guy isn't afraid of a moment. He's a 2-time U.S. Open champ, and he almost won the PGA Championship last year, too. Obviously, he hits it a mile, but he can also putt.
I think he's too crooked off the tee.
That's why he's my really pick.
I get that. I'm just saying, like, I don't really think he's going to do it.
Really?
No, but you would say, really?
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 Yeah, you're right. I know.
This guy once famously said that he views Augusta National as a par 67.
I think he's walked that back since then.
But he has been punished by the golf gods ever since. But this is a place that also lets Sergio Garcia win. So there aren't any lifetime sentences at Augusta, unless you're Gary Player's kid. Give me Bryson DeChambeau as my really pick.
Really?
Now, finally, and I have to preface this one, when I say this is my stupid idiot pick, I don't mean that the person is a stupid idiot, because this person is the furthest thing from that. I love this person. I have to say, though, that if I pick this person, someone would call me a stupid idiot for making the pick.
Stupid idiot.
Yeah, we understand what it means, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Patton Kazire
Because
is my stupid idiot pick.
is he in the field?
Yeah, he won the Pro Tour Championship.
Because I was looking at the list of players and I didn't see his name.
He's in the field.
Are you sure?
He won the Pro Tour
I know,
Championship.
but I looked on the Masters.com last night and his name wasn't in the alphabetical order of the list.
Son of a biscuit. Are you serious right now?
Dead serious, because I knew I wanted to talk about this today.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm having to stop what I'm doing to Google Masters 2025 field. And I'm scrolling down. I'm getting to the K's, and I am looking. Patton Kazire in the field right after Chris Kirk and right before Brooks Koepka, right where someone with the last name K-I-Z-Z-I-R
Okay, so if you don't search for it and you go down, because it's all in alphabetical order, when you get down to the K's, they kind of did him dirty. They didn't put him on. Oh, there he is. He wasn't there last night.
Folks, Ryan Engle proving the point made at the top of the podcast that he can't read.
Hey, tell you this. Patton, you got some ticks, brother?
Some ticks?
Tickets?
Oh, tickets. Some ducats.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Could you even go if he said, come on down?
I would try to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Maybe.
So I believe that if I were to say out loud to anyone that I'm picking Patton Kazire, I would be called a stupid idiot. And that's just by someone that doesn't know the guy. And here's why I'm going with Patton Kazire, despite what people might call me. Sure, Patton's coming off a DFL in Texas. Sure, he drop-kicked his putter to the moon. But he apologized for it, and it was a great apology. And sure, he has not played in any major championship since 2022. But Patton won on the tour last year to earn this invite, and when he last played Augusta in 2019, he finished T18. Patton is a Southern gentleman playing in a Southern gentleman's golf tournament. He's a gamer, and I like Patton Kazire this week at Augusta National. So you can call me a stupid idiot.
Just don't go win in the par 3 contest.
But I'm going with PK.
Yeah, you don't win the par 3 contest. Don't want to jinx yourself.
Well, you know how they always say don't win the week before either.
Yeah.
Because no one has won the week before Augusta and then won Augusta. Patton knew that, and he's just like, let me make the cut and then DFL.
Yeah.
And that's just a heady play.
And by the way, DFL isn't really fair because dead last was the last person on the cut list, you know.
Okay.
Technically.
Sure. Yeah. He DFL'd for people that made the cut.
Yeah, which is great.
It's what you should do. Get paid and then don't even sniff the tournament because you want to go win Augusta.
Well, yeah, plus you get to leave early on Sunday, which is probably nice.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think the putter he kicked has come down yet to earth.
That was impressive the way he did that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was. And I appreciate his apology afterwards because this is a man that is a steward of the game. I didn't send him a message, did you, afterwards?
No.
Because if I were to send him a message, I would have complimented his form and the contact.
It was incredible.
I challenge anyone to go outside and drop kick a putter and not hit yourself in the face with it. Those are our Masters picks. I have Ludwig Aubert, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, and Patton Kazire. Ryan Engle has Brooks Koepka, Scotty Scheffler, Tom Fleetwood, and Rory McIlroy. Let's quickly wrap the show. Let's land this plane in a hurry. April Fools, we played a great joke on Instagram where we released an all-over print polo and duped a lot of people into thinking that we had gone down that path. However, that April Fool's joke pales in comparison to the April Fool's joke I played at work at the SCGA. I had a massive presentation to give on Tuesday, April 1st, and part of that presentation included plugging my laptop into a giant 80-inch flat screen monitor in a conference room in which everyone sitting in that conference room was going to see what was on my computer for my presentation. I decided, why don't I just have a very, very awkward tab open so when I plug in, everyone sees...
Paige Spearnack.
No. I decided to have an awkward tab open for when I plugged in. And as soon as I plugged in my laptop, what flashed on the screen was Google Chrome opened up to top 10 divorce lawyers in Fullerton.
That's pretty funny, actually.
There was an audible gasp from one of the women in the room. She just went, and then my boss goes, Adam, I don't think we're supposed to be seeing that right now. And I'm like, oh, sorry, ignore that. Sorry, guys, sorry.
Wow. I'm just surprised you were able to come up with any type of humor given the spiral you were in.
Well, let's agree that even when I'm not spiraling, and let's just put this on the record, you can attest to this better than anyone because you've spent a lot of time with me the last 5 years. My wife will tell you this too. She'll tell anyone this. I am criminally unfunny. You'd agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny to make fun of you.
Yes. But in terms of me telling jokes or
Not funny.
Not funny at all. What can you do? You know, you play
You're
the
only
hand.
one man.
You're right. Thank you. I'm only one man. I play the cards I was dealt. Being funny is not one of them. This was a funny joke, though. April Fools.
That I'll have to give it to you. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Of course, it's one that took like prep and writing and
Yep.
planning.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
good job.
Thank you.
Great work.
I joined a Wednesday night tennis group.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my New Year's resolutions was to play more tennis. I've now played twice in the last 2 weeks. And 2 quick notes from it. I suck. Thought I was good, but I realized that thinking you're still good at something you haven't done since high school is a fool's errand. And boy, have I had to look my own mortality in the mirror the last couple of Wednesdays.
Did you run into the fence?
No, not this time. I did play Ryan Engle once. We were both drunk in La Quinta playing tennis.
With wooden rackets.
At La Quinta Country Club with wooden rackets, and he hit a drop shot on me, and I ran full speed, which felt really fast in my mind, but had I have seen a video, it probably would have looked like it was in slow motion. I tripped over my own feet and went head first into
Chain link fence.
a chain link fence, and not just the fence part of the chain link fence, the pole part.
Yeah. We should have stopped right there, but we were too drunk to stop, and we just kept playing. Bloody feet. Like, you know, it was...
I did go on to win that tennis match.
Barely.
And then Ryan refused to accept defeat, and for a half hour told me that I didn't win.
No, I wasn't refusing to accept defeat. I was refusing to accept you saying that you dominated and won by a mile and this and that when I was drunkenly just unforced errors hitting it into the net the whole time because I was cross-eyed. There's a difference between dominating someone and having a drunk pillow fight, Adam. And I didn't run into any fence, so I can tell you that.
The other thing I've learned about being a part of this Wednesday night tennis group is soreness can stick around for 4 days.
Oh, yeah. That's going to take a year for that to go away.
Unbelievable how hard walking is.
That's going to take a year.
After tennis.
I took a couple years off of basketball back in the day and got back into a men's league, and I remember I played like the first game, and I woke up the next morning and I was like, I can't walk.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't even realize it. You're like,
Yeah.
I literally, if someone was coming for my life right now, I would just take the bullet.
Absolutely.
Because I couldn't run away.
Incredible how the human body betrays you later in life.
You should play doubles so you run less.
We are playing doubles.
Oh, fuck.
Do we want to make a very, very, very exciting announcement?
Do I have a choice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure.
All right. Tonight we are going to Northwoods Inn
Oh, dude, I forgot.
in La Mirada, California.
I totally forgot it was Monday.
The biggest and darkest restaurant on planet Earth. You have never been...
The best restaurant on planet Earth. Do you want a salad with more dressing than an Olive Garden food factory? They've got it.
And they serve it in a vat.
And just in case the wrong plate hits your table and you're unsure which steak was medium or medium rare, don't you worry, folks, because there is a wooden sign stuck in each steak explaining just how it was cooked. So you can shuffle those plates around. Unbelievable. And they have the best shitty Mai Tai of all time.
Yeah, I remember I went there with you for the first time and said, I'll have my steak microwaved medium rare, please. They brought it out They brought it out perfectly.
I think they spray paint the grill marks on it.
We're going to Northwoods Inn tonight, and we're excited about it because
It was my decision.
It was your decision.
My call.
Your call.
Great call.
Great call.
We're all going to take a photo in front of the grizzly bear.
Yes. And who is we all includes our 3 new owner business partners. Nation Golf has expanded officially from a 2-man company to a 5-man company.
Yeah, we're like TGL. We're like paying people to be a part of this thing.
Minus the paying people.
Right. I can't read.
In the summer of 2024, we announced Justin Jung was coming on as Chief Creative Officer. We are so excited to have him. Very talented friend of ours who does all the Nation Desert Classic videos. Fun fact about Justin Jung, you could throw a baseball from our office and hit his house. That's how close he lives.
Also, driving here and coming to this office gives him hives.
Right, which was my next point. Despite how close Justin Jung lives, he refuses to come into the office. And when he does, he needs somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour to take the 45-second drive.
Well, he's got to stop at Chela's.
Right. Get a burrito, sure.
Yeah.
Yep. But congratulations to Justin Jung, not just for joining the company, but for becoming a new dad. We are stoked for Justin and baby Noah. Welcome to the fam.
Great name.
Good job, Alexis and Justin. Justin's a part of the company now. Will Schwarz is a part of the company now, digital advertising director.
My Schwarz is bigger than yours.
If you have noticed on Instagram that Nation Golf is appearing in your feed more often with the words sponsored right next to every post, that is because Will is pulling the 1s and 2s. We are really excited to have Will. Super smart dude, great guy. He's played in the Nation Desert Classic a bunch of times. And Thomas Wrighton will round things out as the art director of Nation Golf. Nobody has an eye like Thomas Wrighton.
Or as we like to call him, Thom.
Thom or TR?
Yeah, TR. I like TR the best.
Yeah. So we've got Will the Thrill, Thom, TR Wrighton, and Justin Jung. And all of us will be at Northwoods Inn tonight in La Mirada for a late 7 o'clock dinner where we will have a 12-page partnership agreement that we will all lean on the pen and sign.
Real exciting times.
And we can't wait to build out this team with these people. Super fun to work with your friends. And you're really enjoying, you told me your favorite part about this whole build out is you just absolutely love being on Slack.
Yeah. Great app.
You love messaging in 25 different channels.
Yeah, so instead of, having a group message that you can scroll in one place to find where everything was, you now go to an outside app in where there's 45 different categories to try and find those things. Oh, I've got a big announcement too. Big Steve Taylor, soon to be dad.
Oh, are you allowed to make that announcement?
I don't know, but
this podcast has, last I checked, 2,400 listeners an
Mary
episode.
doesn't listen to this thing.
It's not about her. You just disclosed her pregnancy to a rather sizable audience.
They were, it's public.
Is it?
Yeah.
They announced?
Yes.
Okay, good. Great. Excellent. That's awesome news. Congrats, Stephen.
I can't imagine him changing a diaper. I mean, ranch dressing makes him gag. You know what I mean? Just wait till you see a yellow alien full blowout wrap around up to the belly button, down the back, into the neck, where you throw away the changing mat. You're like, I'm not even going to fucking clean this thing. Go to Target and buy a new one. Just wait till that first thing hits. And, Mary's going to do it. Well, just wait. She's going to be at a gal's brunch one morning or something. You're fucked, dude. I can't wait for that to happen. Oh, man. I love it. It's going to be so great for him. I love my friends who were quirky. When they become dads, it's just like, oh, this is it. This is the last thing you needed to really solidify your manhood. And so I'm real excited for Steve. I think it's going to be a great thing. Obviously, we're excited for Mary. But, Big Steve, he's a great dude. He takes the punching bag stuff of his little quirkiness things well, but this will be a nice test for the kid, and looking forward to that.
I think that's why I relate to Steve and love him so much. Him and I have served as your speed bags for a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
And we do a great job.
Let's let the viewers decide.
The podcast is back We are building out a team of 5 that will be officially inked tonight. It's Masters Week. Engle is knee-deep in Lent and doing a great, great job. And folks, we are so excited to be back. Leave your comments on YouTube. That's the only place we pull comments from. The corresponding episode is over there. So if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, just go find episode 126 on YouTube. Leave your comment there. We will get you back on the show next week. It is good to be back. We will talk to you next Monday.